Hello everyone. Thank you so much for watching this except another episode of football transfer news and tactical analysis of various clubs going into the new season and hearing overall news that you don't usually hear on mainstream sports media in Europe. Once again, this is the Pious Football channel on YouTube. You try to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'm very grateful. So let's go right through in and let's focus on Manchester United for a second. I like to deal with the missing Greenwood mystery. Um, you remember in February of this year, the Manchester Crown Court came out with a verdict that Greenwood has been acquitted of all assault and rape charges against his girlfriend. And Manchester United came out with a response that they have actually they have uh, suspended him still. He's still under suspension and they are doing an internal investigation, and then after that they will reinstate him or whatever. But it's been months now. The season is over. We are, many of the players are back from preseason, and the United released a list of players going into the new season for preseason, and Greenwood's name is conspicuously missing. What is the deal with that? The club is still doing an internal investigation for how many months now? But the truth that I am getting that English media is not, telling us is that the sponsors of Manchester United, not all of them, but the big hitters, the big ones, the ones that really matter, are threatening to reconsider their sponsorship with Manchester United if Mason Greenwood is allowed back into the team. So it's kind of made the board a bit um, reserved about reinstating Greenwood. But the manager has told the board that he is interested in the player and he wants to have Mason Greenwood with him for preseason. But as things stand, Greenwood is still in limbo. Another issue that I heard that is with the reason why Greenwood is still not in the team for preseason is that the female players of Manchester United, the Manchester United female team, have also threatened to, kind of uh, made threats that they don't want to see Mason Greenwood in the team. They don't feel safe when Greenwood comes around or when he will come around, whatever that means. They don't feel safe. They won't feel safe with Greenwood around. So they don't want to have Mason Greenwood around Carrington training complex, which is very weird because it's not as if the guy is going to attack anyone I mean the whole thing is a bit strange that the women's team are one of the stumbling blocks to why Mason Greenwood is still not in the team by now. Whatever the case, fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. I think there are rumors of a loan move. That's probably the most consistent news about Greenwood for now. The news coming from Italy is that Jose Mourinho called Greenwood last week to discuss a loan option for him. Remember, Greenwood came into the team. Mourinho took Greenwood on preseason tour in the US prior to him being sacked from the team later on in that early in that season, and then Ole came in and then gave Greenwood his debut. So Mourinho knows Greenwood, so I'm pretty sure the rumors are true, except that Roma came out and then said that Greenwood is not an option for them. So it's kind of weird, but let's keep our fingers crossed and see what happens. Now, the case of Gabriel Veiga to Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea were looking at Moses Caicedo to play alongside Enzo Fernandez in that power midfield that they're trying to build. Caicedo was an option for a lot of clubs. Manchester United, for example, were looking at him a few days ago until the Mason Mount deal finally, went off the line. We remember that we put in a third bid for Mason Mount, and then Chelsea rejected that bid. So, out of frustration, the United board, John Mettle and his team said, no, we are not going to bid more than £60 million for Mason Greenwood. So for Mason Mount. So they went to Brighton to try and trash a deal, which was weird because Caicedo was more expensive. Would have cost Manchester United more money, but apparently that was the option, the fallback option to Mason Mount. But the deal didn't go through because we got our first option, which is Mason Mount. Ten Hag's first option in that midfield role, was Mason Mount from the start. So he got his player, and so we pulled out of the deal for Caicedo, and that gave Chelsea a free run because Chelsea were the only club that was competing with us, Manchester United, for that player. Now Chelsea are negotiating. They've been negotiating for about a week now, and apparently Brighton now want £100 million for Caicedo, because according to them, Declan Rice went for 100 million. So I mean, if Declan Rice is going for 100 million, I mean, why not make Moses Caicedo? I mean, if you look at the stats, I think he has better stats than Declan Rice. So yeah, they feel that he deserves that price, and then that is what they are taking from Chelsea. But Chelsea this time round are saying no, we are not going to pay this amount. We are not going to pay 100 million for him. Our offer will be 75 plus add-ons to 80 million pounds. Take it or leave it. We are not going to negotiate for 100 million pounds. So they have turned their sights to Spain, a Spanish young midfielder, talented, dynamo, very attacking. And he has a very good sense of awareness in midfield, so probably he can play in that central midfield role alongside Enzo Fernandez. So the name is Gabriel Veiga. Gabriel Veiga. I'm sure you are familiar with the name. I mean, a lot of clubs were in for him. We heard rumors about Real Madrid and Barcelona, and then recently Manchester City also coming in. But I'm not sure about Manchester City because they just brought in Kovacic from Chelsea as a free agent, and although Gundogan is going to be a huge miss, they still have a lot of players in that midfield. So unless Bernardo Silva leaves, which looks likely, but he's probably going to be a winger replacement. They're probably going to bring in a winger and not maybe a central midfielder. So the Gabriel Veiga deal for Chelsea, looking at Veiga, could be true. I mean, his value is now 40 million euros, which is a very stark increase from his 20 million value in January. But now he costs 40 million due to the sheer number of clubs, trying to get him. So Chelsea for Veiga would be interesting. I mean, his physicality, can he play in the EPL? But we've seen Juan Matas excelling, we've seen David Silva excelling. So I mean, I think he would be a good deal for Chelsea, if they can get him. And also going forward, a very interesting case of Victor Roque, the Brazilian talent. I mean, the hottest Brazilian, property, on the transfer market. The striker, it's at, 18 years old. He scored a lot of goals and he's very versatile. Can play on, all, lines, the forward lines, as a right winger, as a left winger, and as a striker. And the deal for Barcelona is, I think, close to 60 million euros. I don't know how Barcelona are going to pay that amount since they are really cash strapped. But the problem with Barcelona right now is that they are struggling to sign players because of their wage bill, and in connection to the Spanish. I think they have this limit, a cap on the wage bill, and then if you exceed that, you cannot go beyond it. So they have to get rid of some players before they sign him. Probably the main reason why the deal has still not been finalized because I know that Barcelona have agreed personal terms with the player a long time ago, and also they have also agreed a deal with Paranese. So the deal right now is being held up because of the inability of the Barcelona to register the player with the Spanish league, and that has given Manchester United, Chelsea, and PSG the opportunity to kind of come in and try to hijack the deal. I'm not sure about Manchester United. I think these days every rumor, they have to put in Manchester United so that the fans could, try and get in and then, kind of enlarge the amount of, the euphoria around the deal. But I think honestly, it's Chelsea and PSG who are trying to hijack the deal, and hopefully Barca can get it over the line. But if not, Chelsea and PSG are looking. They'll be looking over their shoulders for Chelsea and PSG trying to steal the match. But another player that I want to talk about. It's a rumor I have read consistently, but I'm not really sure about this transfer. Sofiane Amrabat, the Moroccan, defensive midfielder, coming to Manchester United. I have heard that there is personal terms have been agreed, but with the news about our limited funds for the transfer market, I'm not really sure about this deal. Unless we sell Fred and McTominay, maybe then it could be possible that we might get Soufiane Amrabat. I think Fiorentina will take around £40 million. So, personal terms is not really a problem in transfers these days. The problem is, agreeing a fee with a club, and so that is the big hurdle. So, fingers crossed. Let's see, because I think that we need to get in a very robust defensive midfielder to kind of be a sort of placeholder for Casemiro, because now we have Eriksen and Mason Mount competing for the number 8 role. So if we can get a very powerful, tough tackling, defensive midfielder like Soufiane Amrabat to, be competing with Casemiro, our midfield will be, very tight and very competitive going forward. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed on that deal. Let's see what happens. As we are able to, sell some players. Manchester United, they need to sell players. There are a lot of players that need to go, and we are praying that it happens. Otherwise, the rumors are not going to, they're just going to stay rumors. Another player that I want to talk about is Mason Mount. Yeah, exciting player. I know a lot of Chelsea fans are pained, and they are, saying a lot of things, but I know the genuine ones are really happy for him that he's making this move because he deserves it. Mason Mount is a hugely talented young man, and he needs to play. He needs to be in a team that believe in him, so where he can bring on his the full set of his qualities. A lot of Manchester United fans are baffled by the fact that they've given him the number 7 shirt. I, for one, wasn't expecting it at all. But what's the deal? Why are people angry? I don't understand that he doesn't deserve the number 7, blah blah blah. Which of the players that wore the number 7 shirt actually deserved it from the beginning? I'm not going to go too far into the 60s and the 70s. Just look at from the 80s. Brian Robson, he came in. Yeah, he was a club legend in the end, but he wasn't a club legend when he took the number 7, jersey. David Beckham wasn't a club legend when he took the number 7 jersey. He earned it. Cristiano Ronaldo coming in from Sporting Lisbon in 2003, 18-year-old, taking the number 7 jersey. Yeah, he had the talent, but he had to earn the right to wear it. So it's the same thing here. I don't see why people are confused. Like, okay, so you've seen Mason Mount and he's an average. Anybody who says Mason Mount is an average player doesn't know football, with all due respect. If you think Mason Mount is an average player, you don't know football, because Mason Mount has won Chelsea Player of the Season twice. Player of the Season at Chelsea twice. Look at the talent at Chelsea. So Mason Mount is a very talented player, and he had a very bad season last season. Which player at Chelsea didn't have a bad season, apart from probably, Thiago Silva, even him, he had injury issues to contend with. So I think we can give Mason Mount some slack. and give him a chance to prove himself. Everyone needs a chance to prove themselves and show that they can do the job. So fingers crossed for Mason Mount, the number 7 shirt, and the midfield play, and how Ten Hag will deploy him in midfield. It will be interesting to see. I can't wait for preseason to start. And then lastly, I would like to talk about Arda Gular. Arda Gular, the Turkish magician. He's now the vibe. Everyone is talking about him, especially when you have two of the biggest clubs, probably. One of the biggest clubs in the world, Real Madrid and Barcelona, two who are fighting over him, and he's an interesting player. I've watched him several times. I've watched different clips about him, and then I think he's much more of an Ozil than a Messi. I don't know why they call him a Messi, because he's not as fast as I would want him to be. He's not really fast, but he's very talented, and he has very good dribbling skills, very matured, very good at decision making. So let's see how he is deployed at Real Madrid. I don't see him playing on the wing, but maybe now that Asensio has gone to PSG, there's a room on the right flank where he can fit in, and compete with Rodrigo. Rodrigo certainly is going to start, but I mean, he's a young player, so he can come in from the bench and build experience and see. Let's see what happens. So Arda Güler to Real Madrid is it's an interesting transfer, and I'm sure the Barcelona fans are not going to love to hear this, but it's all good. So thank you so much for listening to me. I will see you next time in episode 3 of transfers and tactics and other news you don't hear in mainstream sports channels in Europe. This is Pious Football. Like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you again. Bye.